back of that as well, Jet is an agent that I think really comes into her own on Ascent. Again, there's lots of aggressive angles you can take, and obviously with the movement abilities you have that self-sustain, so you can go for an early peek. Even if you miss the shot, you can get yourself well away from that dangerous angle. So we see it time and time again. I think it goes without saying, Mixwell has played. Oh, there's a bracket somewhere, but Mixwell has played that role so well, and I think the player to watch here on Ascent will be Mixwell.
Absolutely. Well, it's game number 2. We're on Ascent. G2 is attacking. We're in the grand final. Let's kick this off.
See, I want to see the G2 who just don't give an F about where they're pushing, who they're pushing against. They were just so explosive in the tournament earlier today, but they kind of were a little bit lackluster on Haven, whereas Ascent offers maybe a little bit more of an attacking feel for them, but they're pushing straight into Porous trap, but he was only able to find one, so not as successful as he would have hoped. Mixwell and Pat will get opening frags for themselves. Turco takes down a flying Mixwell into the bubble.
Aggressive.
Very aggressive. And that's what we want to see, really, isn't it? We want to see G2 under that same aggression that has been so successful for them. Pith down here in Hell. We'll try and help out Ardis. Manages to just be enough of a distraction where Ardis picks up a 3K. Fair enough to G2. They get the opener here.
I mean, the Mixwell play was very serious.
That was something,
that was going to be the end. Go ahead, Hypok.
No, I was going to say that was definitely something. I actually liked the decision there from Prodigy to come down, throw the Lear out, and try and contest whilst the spike was still down. Maybe isolate or try and isolate somebody that wasn't involved in the plant there. But G2 will post the first round. So that's a good start for them. Goes without saying now. We're going to have a 5-man B stack. And funnily enough, the spike is headed this way. Yeah,
very rarely do we see it. The amount of times it's the 50-50 flip and it's the opposite way. But maybe Prodigy going to get away with this. But if they catch wind of any sort of noise, they might just retreat and head over to A instead. And it's whether the two players in middle want to do a little bit of a scouting mission before we see a commitment to the B site. Obviously, Pith just pushing up towards Pizza. He's going to gain a little bit of info, but looks like they're going to commit to this. Well, the Owl Drone is certainly going to tell a lot. But it's whether the Owl Drone hasn't opted to look at sight. They're going to be walking in to an absolute ambush here. David gets the opener. Pat is there. Lucka gets one, but I tell you what, it was an ambush, but it was an ambush that didn't really work.
It looked like they had a great setup, but it did not work. That's my analysis. I'll step back now.
That's great. I want to get that just printed on a plaque.
It didn't work.
Did not work. Copyright Moses. 2020.
I mean, to follow up from it, Hypok, why don't you think that worked? Was it just a case of too many shorties, and they didn't have the close enough angles?
I mean, it was because they all died.
It's probably got something to do with the fact that they all died. I think Moses is right. Obviously, the weapons were used and people died. Porous managed to tuck himself away in this corner again. And Pith, he's saying, you're taking the Pith now, mate. You're not going to be able to abuse us from that corner again. Cage does get popped, and actually they're all going to run past him. Forget about him. Porous going to find David P, the last one in the line. But Mixwell will get the entry onto site. Ryan will fall in heaven. But they still have to deal with this flank.
Pith has done well there, not only to get the frag from behind, but also it was the spike. Doesn't have to reload, but it means that Pora wasn't able to connect with those shots. Excuse me, it was Pora who was on the flank, not Pith. Now G2 have managed to get the spike down. Pat takes down Lucka. And it's just going to be the single remaining player on the side of Prodigy. He's going to be walking towards Garden here, and at least Hip has done a little bit of damage. Takes down Mixwell, but Ardis there so fast in response. That's one thing that G2 have been doing so successfully all tournament, is just responding to the trade quick enough so that one player can't get away with just frag after frag after frag.
I think the air has changed a little bit between these two teams in the 10 minutes it's been since the last time we saw them playing against each other, which for round number 2 in this best of 5, it's felt different already, and I think it has something to do with that guy on the bottom of the Prodigy scoreboard.
What? Because he's not got 8 kills already in round 4.
He needs to have at least 10 by now. What are we, 3 rounds in?
3 rounds in, and the paranoia will be sent onto the site. A little bit of damage was done. Do they know there's a player close right? I think he's going to check it, and he doesn't. Which means Pora gets one, but at least Pat was there to get the trade. Hip's already been tagged down to 30 HP. So maybe he's going to be reluctant to peek with this Sheriff. Especially as there is a David P lurking in the window. Such a dangerous position to be faced from, but Rhyme comes from behind.
See, he heard me.
And maybe he did
He's
hear
got
Moses.
control of Spike.
Yeah, he's got eyes on Spike here. A lot of weak members of Prodigy, though. One on 2 HP, one on 33 HP. As Rhyme is going to be forced to back away from this Spike now, Hypok.
But problem being, Pith has pushed his way all the way from A lobby through to Cubby now. So he's going to have all the information. The A site is pretty much for the taking. The rotation coming out now from Prodigy, but Ardis is slowly making his way over there with the Spike. And Rhyme actually going to find Pith inside tree, not going to land the shots. Pith will take him down with the Vandal. And that is going to be site control going over to G2. Lucka down to 2 HP. So this is going to be a really difficult retake if they opt to go for it.
All three of them are going to be in heaven. Oh, they walk straight into the 2-1 for Ardis. Very close to the 3. And Lucka might be able to get 1. He is so weak, and Ardis gets the 3K. They just lined up for him there.
Could have been a triple.
Oh, baby, you triple!
I would have loved to have had that soundbite just play if he'd have hit the triple pull out there.
That would have been incredible. Holy moly. That was like inches.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is Lucka was down to like 1 HP as well, so the damage penetration would have worked out in his favor.
9-0 after 4 rounds for Ardis. And he was the one who was somewhat vocal on Twitter after the predictions went against G2 in the opening day of this tournament.
What?
Maybe he wants to silence those critics yet again.
Who called them to lose? Not me.
There's quite a few predictions just online. A lot of coaches and a lot of Valorant community members had said that Fabricant were going to take down G2. Rhyme gets one on to Pat. And Rhyme stepping up at the right time.
Ardis.
Yeah, with its 8th frag, but unfortunately, that is going to be the end of that. Lucka gets a double with the op. Turco taking down David P at the same time. And Prodigy look like they're going to get their first round on the board.
Yeah, Pith now still over here. The spy cam going to give away all of this information, though. So you can see Turco coming over here to back him up. And Hip is also over towards Heaven. Little peek on there, and Hip will find the headshot. Nice little double peek to clean that one up. And like you said, first round for Prodigy on the board. On the back of a couple of nice operator picks from none other than Lucka.
Would you say Lucka is a smooth operator?
I
Dan,
would say that he's a smooth operator.
Up already? I mean...
well, at least I make myself laugh. That's all that matters.
I laugh.
Ardis at 10-1. And G2 finally falling to a round here against Prodigy then. And Mixwell seeing if he could get the updraft kill of anyone pushing and getting aggressive here. But no one going to be playing ball. Spike is going to be down just here on A lobby. Pat does have the ability to teleport. And what we have seen quite a lot from several different teams is kind of showing a lot of presence at A. The rest of the team goes B as David takes down Rhyme. And now he can wall both of them over here. And Turco is going to have to do quite a lot of this angle, but he will catch one. Turco, check it. And that could be so detrimental to him now because they know exactly where he is. Turco does finish off the kill onto Pith, though.
All right.
He does have orbital strike to work with, but David B gets his 3rd of the round. Ardis cleans up Lucka. And with the spike down, and Prodigy down to just 1 member. That's G2 going 5-1 up.
Yikes.
This is a bit more of what we expected, I'll say. Some momentum building already early on into the first half, and that's the first 6 rounds of Ascent out of the way.
Can't remember, but we were tied. It was 6-6, I believe, right? In the previous, going into the second half of the previous game.
It was indeed, yes.
Yeah, and I think that the pistol round victory ended up going to Prodigy, right? So it was very narrow. All he needs is that one round and have a game like Rhyme did.
Well, information gathered there from the Omen ult means that they can make the decision as to whether they fancy this push. Shock dart into logs is going to do so much damage as the Reyna's going to have to be forced out. Hip down to such a small amount of HP with the judge in hand. Hunter's Fury comes out. Huge. Did he tag one?
Oh, I think he missed.
I don't think he's going to tag multiple. Hip will get the first and allows himself to overheal, so that's going to be a big frag for him with the judge. Makes this push very much a difficult one.
Look at Pora from behind. All the way behind him.
Could be huge here. Gets one, gets two. Doesn't get the spray down to 3 as Pith and Pat will trade out and still make it a 2 versus 2. But maybe the damage is done. Pat TP's onto the site just to get a better angle here. Dark cover comes out so they can push even more successfully and even deeper onto this site.
I love this from Pat right now. He's going to catch Lucka completely off guard there. That's fantastic use of the Shrouded Step. Now, Prodigy find themselves in a 1v2 situation. Everything on the boy Turco. And Pat's actually still hungry for it here. Pith not moving in just yet. Cybercage will go up, blocking his line of sights. The orbital strike is ready, and actually it's going to go down. The spike will get planted, but Pith will lose his life for it. And there you go. Pat is ready for the peak, and that will be his 4th on the round. And G2 will go 6-1 up.
Wow, that was close, man.
That was really, really close. Again, if both players had kind of stacked up together on site, that could have been absolutely disastrous. Because Pith has got to commit to the plant at that point. He can't do anything about that. They started planting the spike when there was about 10 seconds remaining.
I guess that's one of the biggest mistakes I see from like lower level players is they just get scared by the orbital strike and maybe don't even look at the time. And you can hold it, and 9 times out of 10 you can plant it unless the orbital strike is timed just before the plant comes through.
That was the margin of error. That's what I mean. It was so close. Like it was more so. It was close that Turco didn't do that like 1 second earlier.
Yep. Well, Mixwell on the judge yet again. Hello, Pora.
Checking it. Yep.
Victim number 1.
Oh, I think there might have been some body shooting going on there just as the camera dipped away.
G2 at 6-1, and we'll be looking to make this 7 as Prodigy already down a player and also another one weak. Lucka and Hip both been tagged up. As G2 are very much spread across this map, but they probably don't know just yet that Prodigy are all committing to this A site. And Mixwell is in prime position to catch any rotates if they do decide to head towards B here. They could be playing right into it.
I was talking to Mixwell between the games when he was in the chat, just kind of hanging out, and I asked him if the Jet Judge would come out, and he's like, I've been watching 10s.
Oh, I think it's showing. I think it's definitely showing. As we see the push from G2 coming over towards A site here. Pith's going to find Lucka behind Generator. Turco in hell. Pith will find his second now with a headshot. Hip replying with a headshot of his own. And actually a second. Mixwell gets his scalp removed. Spike will go down on Generator now, and they're going to push down. Another Sheriff shot coming in. Rhyme will find Ardis. Now, this could get interesting. The res is available. Whether or not he chooses to invest it here, it's a 1v2 right now.
If he's got the info of where the 2 players are, he could get a shot away, but Pat peaks at the right time to make it 7 now for G2. And this was my concern. An angry G2 sometimes is an even better and more successful G2. We saw what happened in day 1 when Fabricant were able to take the first map on Bind. Suddenly G2 just exploded with rage and were able to come back, win the series quite comfortably 2-1 after. Maybe we're going to see more of the same here in this final, as that's 3 rounds on the bounce. Just the one blip in the middle of this. And money not particularly great for Prodigy. So if they lose this one, then they're back down to nothing. And they could be looking at 9-1.
And that is it's a hell of a hole to dig yourself out of. Ardis is actually going to find Lucka. He's going to clear the cubby as well. David there to follow up with a headshot. That is a fantastic entry onto B site from G2. Now you see Mixwell looking for another. He's going to find Turco in the spawn. This is an absolute clinic from G2.
I love the Hunter's Fury usage there. I mean, of course, he already got the tag, so he was guaranteed the kill. But with the third shot, clearing out that corner.
Yes, huge.
Because even if he doesn't connect with anything, at least he gets the vision, right? He can check and he can say to the team whether someone's there or not. You don't see Hunter's Fury used like that enough. And I think we're only kind of scratching the surface here of what's possible with some of these agents. And day by day, people are finding out new things to do, new ways to push onto sites. And G2 putting on a real show here on Ascent. The res does come through, though. So Prodigy now have the player advantage. It's going to be a 3 versus 2 on the site. But Mixwell says, I don't give a crap. He manages to find one. Pops his ult, looks for the second. It's going to be his third. Make it 4 if he connects. He doesn't quite. Needs a little bit of help from his teammate. He can't survive. And Rhyme clutches up. And he's going to have time to defuse.
Went to the classic.
That is a huge round from Rhyme. And the observers agree.
What happened the last time Rhyme had a huge round? You got to watch out for that, man. It kind of set him on the path to victory. And I mean, it is 7-2. It's quite a hole to be in against G2, but anything can happen. I mean, we do have a round reset coming up, and the last time that that Prodigy was able to take a pistol round at the half, they ended up winning the game.
And that was a 2-round game as well, realistically. Not only has he salvaged a round for them there, but he stopped him from going 9-1 down because the money was going to be atrocious. Mixwell coming so close with his ult. But not quite close enough.
Though. Nice.
How do you see the rest of this half playing out? Hypoc, do you think that G2 now recover yet again and take this maybe to 10-2? Or can Prodigy string a couple together as Lucka gets the opening onto Ardis?
Lucka. He move in space with minimum waste and maximum joy. I'm hoping you get that reference. We're going to see now the push come through. Pat and Mixwell will find one on the way in. And there you go. Porat, he's going to struggle to put David down. And that could be very influential in the outcome of this round.
That's unlucky right there.
G2 have the spike planted, and even though Lucka has the op, he has to reposition here. Because look how spread out G2 are on the map. They've got so much information. And they're trying to escape here, but they're going to be walking straight into Mixwell. And Mixwell gets the spray down for the third, makes it 4. And just as Prodigy thought that maybe they had a ticket back into the game, Mixwell very much tears it straight down the middle.
Mixwell's just gone from like 2-6 or whatever it was 2 rounds ago to 10-7.
There's very few realities in where Mixwell posts up 12 frags a game back to back.
When you're putting up 8 kills across 2 rounds, it's easy to understand why that would be the case.
And this maybe is reminding me of the 13-4 domination G2 had against Party Parrots on this map. As whilst the observers look at the sky, Pith and Ardis have had a little bit of fun on their own. Lucka will at least reply onto Ardis and do a little bit of damage to G2. And okay, David P says, I want to chime in and take down Lucka, and just the one remaining player is going to fall to David P as well.
Give the man the headshot. Like that looked like that should have been at least a 1. That's my pub rage coming out again. That was a headshot, dude. Come on.
And then you see it go up, and you've hit him in the leg for 17.
Yeah, exactly.
Mixwell going for the op plus Vandal play here in the last round of the half.
Cool, yeah, again, we've done it a couple of times, but shout out to the observers. They found their final form today.
Yeah, exactly.
They have been absolutely killing it, guys.
You can tell Mixwell ops a lot as well, because he's looking in the angles where he knows he would be opping from, instead of just checking bottom mid like so many teams would. Instead, he's looking for those positions where you wall up, and just out of nowhere, Mixwell has traversed the map from top mid right up to short to get a 2K.
Okay.
All right.
And he is just playing matchmaking at this point. Updraft comes through. He does see the player on generator, or does he? No, he doesn't. That's unfortunate. Didn't quite see the barrel as Turco makes a 2K of his own and keeps Prodigy potentially into this. As I say, that Pat gets sprayed down through the wall. David P will get one on to hit, and it's all going to be down to the last remaining player of Turco to try and salvage something of this half, but can't really see it happening. It's more than likely going to be a 10-2, which it is. And G2 are a pistol round away from realistically taking this very, very comfortably.
This is what was it? What was it? A mild spanking.
Mild spanking has turned into a pretty vicious spanking.
We are
at this
the
point.
cheeks are clapping.
A ferocious cheek clapping.
We need to have a
This
scale.
is after hours right now.
We need to have a scale.
Yeah, we do. At what point do we draw
We
the
got
line?
a pat on the behind, a mild spanking, and an absolute booty clap.
I mean, Mixwell closing the distance there. As soon as he hears the Hunter's Fury, he pinpoints exactly where Lucka was pulling it from. And you can see just straight away, just full W key, Blade Storm popped, and Lucka has barely got enough time to pull his operator back out before he's got Mixwell charging him down.
I mean, Lucka didn't even have a chance to breathe.
No.
Alone pull out the op.
He might have been mid-blink, just like, what the hell happened to me?
Sometimes you just can't pull out fast enough.
True. Don't tell the government that, please.
Moving swiftly on, Prodigy have managed to work their way into a garage here, but David P is going to be the first point of defense. Finds
Okay.
David P makes it 4.
Let's go, David!
This man is an absolute beast when he's got a pistol in his hand, any weapon in his hand. He's going to get aggressive. He wants that ace.
Yeah!
Yes!
G2 on a tear, and this is an absolute walloping.
Attack
Now-
Sage.
That's how you put a team on the back foot cowering in a corner, is you have your Sage pull off an ace in the pistol round.
It's just the
The
positioning in
slow
this as well.
is crucial. Like, they're just sitting in this thing. They can't strafe. They can't do anything. And David is just mowing them down.
Also, shout out
Wasn't
to
even a
Mixwell.
question.
Like, Mixwell has come there to his aid, and he has supported him there. It forced them to also adjust their sight lines. Turco took down Mixwell, which allowed then David P to get the 4K. And Mixwell says, hey, I want some of this fun.
I'm challenging mid.
But for all his heroics, David P is going to be the first to fall in this round, as Prodigy quite rightly have just forced up. Stingers and marshals all around, but it's going to be a Vandal for Mixwell, which is a very scary factor. Paranoia comes through on middle. It's going to catch one. Turco gets the response. It's going to be a 3 versus 2. Prodigy just have very little to work with in terms of weaponry here. And I imagine this is going to go 12-2 here, and with the money that has been invested into this round, it's going to be GG's. Unless one of these players on Prodigy will step up now. And it's probably going to have to be Rhyme, and he has done this before. Does get the heal at least, so this becomes somewhat more doable now. Did Artist catch wind of them pushing out through there? Because if he does, he's going to have the perfect angle to get the spray down with the Bulldog. Will connect a couple of bullets, but has to back off. Needs help from his team now. Doesn't need to re-challenge this, but unfortunately couldn't get away. And, well, Rhyme evens things up to make it 2 versus 2. I think they're just going to have to allow them to plant the spike here. Spike is planted, but Pith and Mixwell.
Okay.
Lack of respect at that point. They just need to make sure they push at the same time, and which they did. Make it 12-2. Gonna be 13-2. Chalk this one off. Game over. And we'll move on to the next, boys.
Okay, so the real question is, who has hijacked the 5 accounts of the Prodigy players and showed up to play Ascent? Because who the hell are these guys?
Yeah.
They weren't in the previous map.
What can you say? I mean, is this just the strength of G2 on Ascent specifically? I mean, I don't know I don't have the stats offhand as far as win rate for G2 on this map, but this reminds me a lot of my matchmaking, and I can tell you what team I'd be on.
Well, I think that Ascent is one of the biggest maps that can really separate a practice team from a non-practice team. I think that's what we're seeing here. Prodigy, as they are a little bit more of a puggy squad, they're just trying to go for default executes, default pushes, whereas G2 are just more clinical. Their executes were sublime, their post plants were impressive too. And now on the defensive side, well, they haven't had to do much, to be honest. A pistol round win and a force-up victory for them Means that they find themselves with an advantage, but okay, Rhyme. I see you trying to make something of this game. This, though. If you can get this frag. Oh, okay. All right, then. I said chalk it up, but maybe there's some little bit of life left in this game just yet. This only has the Bulldog to work with. I mean, it's not going to be much life of the game.
It's like a death rattle.
Yeah.
Well, just to hop into this point, of a total 48 rounds played on Ascent for G2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They have only dropped 11 rounds out of them. They have a 100% win rate on this map. And
G2 has a 100% win rate on this map, you just said?
Yes.
Yeah,
From what's been recorded, I presume.
From what's been recorded. And I'm going to go ahead and assume they want to keep it that way.
They got to be exhausted, Prodigy, if you think about it. I mean...
Well, they would have
not
put so
trying to
much
make
into
excuses,
that game,
but
right?
realistically, I mean... I think Hip has had a rough tournament personally, but considering the mountain they've had to climb to get here. Okay.
Mixwell doing Mixwell things. Love to see that in the grand finals.
Mixwell's just nuts. He doesn't care. Unfortunately, the shorty not connecting. Imagine if that was a judge. That's all I'm going to say. This G2 have been tagged down a little bit. Yep, just waiting in this dark cover to see if anyone is going to be pushing, but Pat will retreat to guard him. Rhyme did some big things in the previous round, and I mean, it has just been that clutch factor for Prodigy time and time again, really. A three-man paranoia there. Actually, no, it doesn't connect with one of them. Hip will then get that frag and now allows them to push onto the site here, and everyone else is going to be over at B on the side of G2. So this is going to be a comfortable plant, but how's your retake if you're G2?
What do you think about Pora's position? Like, is he just waiting there for an exit frag? Like, what is the positioning of Pora there? Iron question, by the way.
I think he's just trying to wait out. As soon as the spike goes down on A, he's anticipating a rotate coming out and maybe a free kill. So that's his only job there, is to stay alive and kind of, as soon as he hears the rotate, rotate behind them, come and be a nuisance generally, as we've seen him do a number of times. But it's looking like G2 are actually looking to try.
Guardian.
Yeah, they're trying to get in on this, and the Aldron's going to come out, spot something down on Generator, but maybe this is just an exit kill strategy. As you can just see everybody pull out here. Pith actually all the way at the top mid. He's going to lose that. Vandal versus Bulldog 1v1 with Turco. Now you see the shorty's going to come up. Something to say about Turco. Will eat a headshot, and Ardis will get hip down as well. Can't save the weapons, unfortunately, but some damage is done to a very flaky economy.
And I mean, it's just a matter of time, right, before G2 closes this one out. It would be an incredible comeback. Don't get me wrong. If Prodigy managed to bring this one back, and it would be one for the ages, and arguably one of the best comebacks we've seen in Valorant so far. But
I mean, 100 Thieves have had a pretty nice comeback. Right? Yeah. It's
was
possible.
it the Immortals game, or was it?
Yeah, I believe it was against FaZe. They had a lot of comebacks. Just try winning a couple of rounds at the beginning of the game.
Maybe some pistol rounds.
Yeah.
Thing is, the amount of those games like that we've seen so far in tournament play that have been comebacks and gone to 12-12 and then gone to that one deciding round, and it's almost been a bit anticlimactic, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But now with the potential new, with the new overtime rules that should be in place, I'm so excited to what Valorant has to offer in terms of like esports games, and we're going to get some nuts matches.
Not this match, though, I don't think.
No, this isn't going to be the overtime one. As Prodigy have already lost one member. Make that 2 and a third, as Pat says. Yeah, let's get this one over and done with, lads. I want to move on. I want to get to bed. You two have been hanging around waiting for this match for a few hours now. Rhyme jumping straight into a couple of bullets, and actually he's done well to take down Mixwell, but Pith cleans up. As now it's all down to Lucker in a 1 versus 3 to keep this game alive and keep this game a-rolling. But he's spotted out 13-4 then to G2, and that was pure domination.
Well, yeah. I mean,